If you ever find yourself out of balance, getting mad all the time, obsessing over some societal norm, or frustrated with the pace of life, you should watch The Big Lebowski. And not just because it can make you laugh and distract you a little bit, but because it showcases a powerful character, the dude. A person I think everyone could stand to learn a bit from every once in a while. And let's be clear, I don't mean powerful as in strong, influential, or even intelligent. What I mean is,
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
hey, does The Big Lebowski suck? No, it doesn't suck. Get that shit out of here. So let's start with a pretty basic and spoilerific question. What changes in The Big Lebowski? Well, Donnie, a character who says almost nothing, dies, which, despite a heartfelt eulogy from Walter, I'd say they hardly recognize. I mean, they just kind of go bowling afterwards, like always. The dude's car gets torched and his apartment gets trashed or broken into on 4 separate occasions, but it doesn't really seem to bother him that much. Does the Big Lebowski ever admit his thievery, and is the money ever returned to the Little Lebowski urban achievers? Well, not that we see, and Maud seemed pretty intent on keeping the cops out of it. Does the dude get his rug, the urinated on catalyst that gets him involved in the story, back? Once again, not that we see. What else? The Knutsons, they don't really matter. The possible baby Lebowski doesn't really matter. He won't be an active father, anyways. The Nihilist, I mean, sure, they could bother him more, but they really don't have a reason to make any demands. We don't even know if they win their bowling match against Jesus. Actually, now that I think about it, does the dude even roll a single ball outside of a hallucination? The movie doesn't even care to tell us how all these intertwined situations are fully resolved. Because they don't really matter. Or I should say, they don't really matter to the dude. And this is his true power. He's been pulled through a bunch of crazy scenarios, met lots of characters, heard conflicting stories and motives. He's been assaulted on numerous occasions, and all in a very short time period. But none of this really changes his stride. He still grabs a drink when he can, he lights one up, relaxes to whale sounds, attends his friend's event. He keeps his league games going through all of it. Well, as best he can. He accepts the world as it is and maneuvers through it, trying to change what he can while not sacrificing his needs and wants. He isn't owned by his possessions. He isn't owned by his situation. He isn't owned by his relationships. And if this sounds easy to you, then my hat's off to you, because it can be a struggle for many. In fact, there's a whole religious movement, Dudism, spun off from the film to draw attention to these ideals and the Taoism tones behind them. And let's face it, probably to make a quick buck too. But what does all this mean for you? Well, quite simply, I hope it's a movie that you can enjoy for a bit. I hope you can laugh at Walter's rage comedy, be inspired to chill out like the dude, maybe try a White Russian, think about nihilism, groove out to some music, be intrigued by all the happenings, and then you can return to your little slice of the world in a better headspace. And maybe this all sounds a bit pointless to you, which I think is totally understandable, but I challenge you to consider that maybe there is some amount of joy, intrigue, or catharsis to be found in a pointless endeavor. And maybe that in itself is the point. Yeah, far out, man.